Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another NHL 17 Shootout commentary. And we have a post-commentary today because I want to talk about something pretty important to all the fan bases in the NHL. And it's who's going to make the playoffs after the first third of the season. This is my opinion only. You don't have to agree, you can agree. It doesn't matter. It's just what I think and what I think it will end up looking like in April. But let's start off in the Atlantic. The teams that I will say that will make the playoffs: Montreal, Ottawa, and Tampa. Now, Montreal and Ottawa, they just have it going right now. If they keep it going, they're going to be just fine. Now, Tampa, they're not doing that good right now. They sit out of the wild card spot. They sit, how many points? They do sit 7 points out. But this is Tampa Bay. They will come back. They will make the playoffs. I really don't think Boston's going to stay there forever. Pastrnak is not going to be able to stay consistent. And Buffalo, Detroit, Toronto, Boston, and Florida are teams that aren't going to make the playoffs. They're just all too far out of the wild card spot right now, and it just doesn't seem like they'll get it done, in my opinion. And then now in the Metropolitan, we have playoff teams. New York, of course, they've been doing good. It doesn't look like they're going to stop. Pittsburgh, they're just trying to defend the Stanley Cup. Washington is always around. And Philadelphia, they're turning it around. It looks like they'll be getting better, and I can't lie about that. Now, here's some people may not agree. Columbus. Now, the reason I say that is the Islanders are way far down in the standings. They are just not going to make it back, in my opinion. It just doesn't look good for them. And New Jersey and Carolina, they're still rebuilding, but they'll get there one day. The Islanders, man, they haven't turned around. The coaching's the problem, not the playing. Tavares is doing the best he can. It's not his fault. And Columbus just has it going for them there right now. They have the motivation to keep playing hockey like the way they are. And in the Central now, this is probably, already confirmed from here on out. We have Chicago, St. Louis, and Minnesota. All those teams are really good teams. If Dubnyk stays healthy with Minnesota, he'll be good. Chicago, they're still a dynasty in my opinion. And St. Louis still has the key players to get to the playoffs. Now, teams that won't be making the playoffs in the Central: Colorado, Winnipeg, Nashville, and Dallas. The reason I say Nashville and Dallas is it just doesn't seem like they're getting it done. They're not producing with the players they have, and it just seems a little rough for what they have, and they're not using it. And also, the reason I say Dallas and Nashville is not making the playoffs because in the Pacific, I say San Jose, Edmonton, Anaheim, and LA will squeeze it in. Wait a minute, that's only 7. Ooh, so Nashville or Dallas? Well, Dallas has the offense going, so I got to go with Dallas. Dallas has Sagan and Ben. Nashville hasn't done anything really with Subban. Subban's doing the best he can. I know that, but Colorado, they're just struggling over there for some reason. Winnipeg, they're still rebuilding. They will be there in maybe 2-3 years. Nashville, like I said, not using their key players together well. In Dallas, they have the offense to carry them into the playoffs, so I do believe that. But back to the Pacific. So San Jose, they're looking to get back to the Stanley Cup, so they have the motivation to do good this season. Edmonton, and if McDavid can just keep putting up points, they will be in the playoffs, no problem. Anaheim, they're just in a good position. I wouldn't say they're not a really great team, but they're just in a good position as of now. And then LA can squeak in that wild card spot because it's the LA Kings. And then players that will not be making the playoffs teams will be Arizona, Vancouver, and Calgary. Now, Arizona is the worst team in the NHL. I don't see them going on a giant streak and beating out every team in the NHL to get a playoff spot. Vancouver and Calgary are still in the midst of rebuilding. Calgary can get there. Vancouver, they still got maybe 3 years in my opinion. But I think this is what I think. It's okay if you don't agree. I understand. Everybody has their opinion. Some people are biased about their teams. Maybe an Islanders fan will say, "Oh, well, the Islanders can just turn around really well." And like I said, I would like for Detroit to make the playoffs, but it's like, what's the point now? You're keeping the playoff streak alive, but there's just really no point in my opinion. So I'd rather miss the playoffs for 3-4 years, do a decent rebuild, and then maybe be a second first round, second round team. It would just be better, and then we can build up and maybe get back to the Stanley Cup Finals for Detroit. But that's still a while to go. We're still struggling with bad contracts and everything. But the reason I say Nashville yet again, we'll come back to Nashville, is they have the defense, but they're just not using it correctly. It feels like, just doesn't feel like they're using it. And maybe they got to make a turnaround. Maybe they got to make a trade for a better offensive star, because Johansson's not turning it around for them. They gave up Jones for that. I mean, everybody thought it was a lopsided trade. Look at what Columbus and Nashville are looking like now. It looks like Columbus has won that trade. And then Dallas, I mean, they have the offense to squeak it in. I believe they can get in. And then, I mean, like I said, in the Pacific, Arizona, Vancouver, Calgary, they're just not good teams right now. They're not going to be able to deal with the powerhouses of Chicago, St. Louis, Minnesota, and San Jose. It's just kind of hard to squeak in the playoffs with those teams being a threat. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion about who I think will make the playoffs. Leave your comments down below who you think will make the playoffs. I understand your opinion. I may not agree with it, but I understand. It's what you think. It's what you believe. And yeah, so yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.